RealAgriculture.com presents Farming Forward. Sharpen your soil health expertise with cover cropping, nitrogen management, and advanced grazing. Brought to you by the Farm Resilience Mentorship Program.
Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com for another episode of Farming Forward. In the case of agriculture, there's a lot of knowledge and information to be passed on from generation to generation. This is especially true in grazing. Whether it's inside the family or out, there's a lot of experiences, skills, best management practices that are important to make sure the next generation is able to grab hold of and improve on. Now, the Grazing Mentorship Program has been incredibly successful with these objectives. Today on Farming Forward, we're going to talk to Grant Lastiwka, who is a grazing legend not only in Alberta, but across the country.
Grant Lastiwka, and my wife and I farm with our family here at Innisfail. Been here for over 30 years and got excited about grazing management in 1987 when my brother and I put together our first system, and we've changed a lot since then. Certainly you learn and you adjust. And from there, of course, I worked for a long time with Alberta Agriculture in a forage capacity, in a grazing capacity, and with some wonderful scientists at Lacombe and others for a number of years. So I've been very blessed to have a lot of teachers, and the Forage and Applied Research Associations taught me tons because of the leadership there of the producers. So it's been a very learning journey for me through all these years to where I am today. And slowed down a little bit. I'm working for the company called Union Forage a bit, and I'm also working with the Forage and Applied Research Associations as needed.
So Grant, strong background in the area of forages and pasture management. Talk about the mentorship program and its critical role in developing not only current ranchers and people managing grasslands, but also those future generations.
I think the mentorship is something that's very dear to my heart. It's one of those where producers help producers. And the fact is, you don't have to make that mistake. I'll help you. And with that, it's not there to tell you what to do because everybody is unique. And with the uniqueness of the situation, the person, and what the year in particular, a mentor is there to be a confidant and somebody to give you comments, advice as you want to take it. But through all of that, it's somebody that's been there. I made mistakes, I've learned from them, and let's work with you so you can shortcut some of this and get through them a lot easier than I did. And they're producers that care, and that is pretty amazing.
So talk about the importance of that knowledge transfer and how, the old saying of learning from somebody else's mistakes can be, really beneficial.
Well, Sean, we learn more from mistakes than successes. And I think that's one of the reasons why that people in the grazing fraternity share a lot of their mistakes pretty readily, because all of us make a lot of them. But the excitement about it is we see the accomplishments that come thereafter when we get it right or get close to right. So my thought on that is that experience is every year being different, an understanding of the economics of plant growth, of how to manage your way through a season. As one of them would say, stick handle your way through. Holistic plan grazers would say, well, you got to plan and plan in pencil. And lo and behold, then when you record, you can record in pen, but that means that you're monitoring, controlling as you go and adjusting. And when I get to the end point, that mentor is going to be one that's going to help me achieve my goal closer to it sooner also, and in my own way, invaluable sharing. And it's an opportunity to get that experienced person and have that resource that's amazing.
Is it one-on-one kind of learning?
Yes, it's one-on-one learning. Coming out to the farm, being on the phone with that party, and it's your opportunity to have conversations of questions. and what if, and it depends, and all of that, so that you set out, and hopefully for me, I make notes. And so then I go back at them and go, okay, now I'm going to watch this and that and that. But for a lot of them, those mentors spending that time with you, that energy with you, is something that they're doing from their own business and sharing their trade secrets.
There's so much regionality, variability across areas where we are engaged in grazing. Every year is also different. So there's a lot of variables here. Talk about how that mentorship program helps us steer through some of that variability.
Well, when you say variability in the grazing community, there is, and it's a lot. Because with perennial forages, the variability happens even before we realize. They're plants that grow from year to year. And so we can see the writing on the wall. And as we looked at it last year and saw it was very dry, and we're thinking, oh boy, we're going to need a lot of snow or moisture in spring, or how are we going to manage around this? Or if my water bodies are low, all of that is kind of that thoughtfulness the mentor brings, because they're looking at a bigger picture than we would. As we develop our pictures of understanding, we start looking more holistically, like many would say, and realizing that we're managing for plants, we're managing for environment, we're managing for finances and people all together, and the ecosystem, or the community, as many would say. And with that, the mentor will be able to go a number of places that it's going to strengthen your base of understanding. So when you start in thinking through something, you go, okay, well, I better think about that and such. Every year is different. And it's different because of environment. It's different because of past history, the present we've got, and the presence of what we're going to do. And the fact that we've got a variable climate, and our pastures so often are on more marginal lands. As the grain community takes on land, they're taking the better land so often. So it's even more of a fun challenge, I think, on the learning journey, to be able to deal with the variabilities and yet get a resilience out of it. And I know, Sean, you and I talked about resilience a little bit ago, and the variability, when considered properly, I think is also the strength, because all of a sudden now we've got a variable plant community, we've got variable pastures, so we can change our plans and go to one that fits better. And in many cases, we're even spread in land bases where we've got more moisture on one set of pastures than another. So there's lots of opportunities with variability, not to be blindsided, but to consider and even used for the strength it can bring.
And it's not just a one-way communication. The mentorship program, I mean, I'm sure there's things the mentor learns very much so from the mentee at times too.
When you ask questions, when you have to answer them, you always think. And you hear it every time. Sean said that I learned more than I shared. But people's time is valuable too. And in my mind, I'm so appreciative that there is this opportunity to draw on these people. And yes, when they go home, they've seen different circumstances. This province is so vast and so different. And landscapes, plant communities are different. But there's a lot of principles that end up being the same to build around. It's just you tweak them in different ways. And so that's where I like some of the science behind it. And the mentors are going to share what some of their learnings have been from scientists, from other producers. And as they put these pieces together, so often they won't give you just answers that'll explain where it's coming from. And that to me is even more empowering, if I use the word right.
If you enjoyed this video and want to continue to sharpen your soil health expertise, Encourage you to go to farmlearninghub.ca to learn more.